Yo,
Can you see me? Can you hear me?
yeah, I could hear you. Could you hear me?
All right. Yeah. How you doing,
You
man?
good?
I'm
Good.
good.
Yeah, can't complain. It's I don't know. I'm from Chicago, and it's our first hot day of the year,
Oh,
so
well, what's hot? What's hot though?
50 degrees.
It's damn near freezing cold out here in LA.
Yeah, exactly. LA, I mean, yeah, that's literally like everyone has their big jackets on and
Yeah.
bundled up, and for us, literally, people were in shorts and t-shirts. Yeah,
In the
it's
50s, the heat stays on all day and all night out here in
really.
LA. It's
I know it's
cold.
crazy, but first of all, I just want to ask, how are you doing? It's I keep on telling everyone, it's crazy that in a week, well, in about 2 weeks, it'll be a full
Mm.
year of like COVID season and
Yeah.
quarantine.
Yeah.
So it's crazy to believe
I,
that it's
this is one of the few times where I think it's where I can't at least say time has flown by. Usually, a year you're like, you look up and you're like, damn, the year's halfway gone. But, as far as for COVID, it's kind of, for me at least, it's kind of been creeping by. But yeah, we're a year deep, and hopefully we're on
crazy.
our way out.
Yeah, right? I'm
Yeah,
praying by the summer. Let's pray by summer
hopefully.
we're yeah. Well, I want to ask you, like, how was it for you, like, still working? Because yeah, we were shut down. I feel like everything was shut down for a good what couple months. I feel, and then by
I was out for
summer
4 months.
was it 4 months?
At least I was, yeah. I was out. We were off work for
Yeah,
4 months. Yeah.
yeah. So 4 months, but like after that, you went back to work, and how was it like? Because I give you all a lot of credit because you all had to go in and like really be, strict on the new rules and regulations, especially like because I mean, there's a lot of people with production, and there ain't like there's one person you could just get everything done. You have a huge production. There's a lot of people that are involved in the whole thing. How was it for you just getting back to work, like you said, after 4 months and just becoming
It was
accustomed to it?
it was completely different. Before we got to work, we, went to our room, either to the makeup room or whatever. We were able to move and, hang out with some of the castmates, rehearse or whatever it may be. But now we can't even literally, we cannot walk on set without a negative result. We have to have a mask on the entire time we're there. The only time we can actually take our mask off is when we get on set to do the scene. And as
Hmm.
soon as the scene is done, we're back with masks on. So I mean, it's a completely different environment. We're not rehearsing, with our partners in person. It's now over video chat, and I think all of us know how well video chat goes with Wi-Fi and all that.
Yeah.
So we deal with issues, if not even more. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely made things, tough, but at the end of the day,
Yeah.
we're pushing through, and we're still giving the fans some TV to watch. So that's all we can do.
Yeah, like how like you said, it was a new our new normal, I guess, especially for you and for everyone like an actor, definitely the new normal for you all. How was it true? I heard from for some people like when you were rehearsing, like you said you couldn't rehearse in person, but I heard there was
Yeah,
like they would put like a dummy in place of is that true? I've heard that from a couple
definitely
people,
not
like a
for
couple actors.
definitely not for rehearsals, but there were some
No, okay.
shows that for kissing scenes, instead of having the two actors kiss, they would do some fancy camera work, and they would have some of the actors kiss dummies. Luckily, that wasn't on our show, and luckily, I didn't have to do that. But yeah, definitely, some people did have to, you know, get close, very, very close and comfortable with a dummy.
That's so fun. Yeah, like I heard that. I was like, I gotta ask anyone that I know that I interview that's like an actor because that's just like I don't even know how you can really get into character because it's it's not a real person.
Yeah.
Um,
And some people they had
but
they had significant others come in, and they did some fancy camera work, and just they got to kiss their wives or girlfriends or whatever it may be. But again, we didn't have to do that. We've been tested every day. We're there.
Dope, dope. Well, I want to bring it all the way back from your childhood. So we'll start there and then we'll work our way up. But
Mm.
growing up, you were raised in San Mateo, California. Um, how how was it growing up for you? Like, what was it like? What were your, I guess, when you're a kid, you have different goals, you have different ambitions, you different influences. Growing up, how was it for you?
I mean, it was. I don't know. I guess I'm kind of timid on saying normal because I don't know what normal is. I mean, who knows what normal is
Yeah,
compared to
true.
what everyone else is going through. But I mean, I was raised by my grandparents who took really great care of me. I went
Hmm.
to good schools. I had friends. There was nothing really crazy going on in my life, or anything where, any crazy stories or anything like that. I mean, like I said, I don't want to say normal, but to me, it was just a regular upbringing. I was a happy kid and I was well taken care of, and things were good.
Well, goal wise, like, what did you want to be at a young
Mm,
age? Did you always want to get in the entertainment business, or what were your
No,
goals?
not at all. I've always been an animal lover. So it's funny. I have
Okay.
a kindergarten, my yearbook when I was in kindergarten, and we wrote what we wanted to be when we were older. And I wrote that I wanted to work at the zoo. I've always loved kids. So sorry, I've always loved of animals. I love kids too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've had a love for animals since I was very, very young, and I ended up I worked as a veterinarian technician for about 10 years.
Yeah,
So I did get
I seen
to,
that.
yeah, I did get to achieve that childhood goal. Um, but no, acting, doing modeling, anything show business in front of the camera, that was never anything I had ever thought about doing or had any aspirations or anything like that. I kind of fell off
Dope,
into
dope.
that.
Oh, yeah, you did. Okay. Well, yeah, like you said, you were in San Mateo, and then you moved to Los Angeles. How was that transition? Because I moved there about 2 years ago, and then I moved back to Chicago once COVID hit. But I mean, Chicago's kind of similar, but LA's a little, similar in certain ways, I guess. But how was it for you, going to the big city and, Los Angeles, you see a lot really quick.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I didn't move into, let's say, Hollywood when I first moved to Los
Okay.
Angeles. I was in Torrance with my uncle, so I was kind
Hmm.
of off and not into the glitz and glam of everything. Um, but I mean, it was different. The reason I moved from San Mateo is because I just wanted to do something different. I wasn't really doing anything out there. At the time, I was a carpenter, and there was really no growth in life. It was just kind of I was just
Hmm.
stagnant, and
Yeah.
I knew, it's looking back, it was smart of me just to be able to realize that there was no growth and I needed a change and I needed to do something different. So when I moved out here, to be honest, I really didn't have a set plan. It was just, let me just go place myself somewhere different and see, kind of see where
Hmm.
life takes me. And I did that, and I think it was maybe, I don't know, maybe like 6 months or so before before I got scouted to do modeling, and that kind of set the path for everything that's led me to where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I want to ask you, like, how was that being kind of found? Like you said, you had no real like plan, but I feel like a lot of people don't have a plan in LA because it's such a big city and there's so much stuff that just kind of pops up. Yes, some people are so driven, and I feel like some people like that, they overkill it almost where it doesn't happen. Whereas you kind of let it organically, something pop up. How was it for you
Yeah,
being, scouted out and kind of found for, modeling and then, like you said, built your career? Like, were you surprised? Were you like, hey, this is
it was kind of
dope
weird,
opportunity?
it definitely was kind of weird. It was something that, like, it was the furthest thing from my mind to do any type of modeling. I mean, even when I was approached, my initial response is no. That wasn't something that I even wanted to do. Um, I've always kind of been, a person that's kind of stayed in my shell, a homebody, kind of a hermit crab. So
Hmm.
that was the furthest thing from Lamone and my comfort
Yeah.
zone, was to be in front of everyone and having everyone look at me, whether I was in clothes, or taking pictures, walking down the runway, or whatever it was. It wasn't me. So
Yeah.
it didn't come easy, and it definitely was one of those things where it was just I guess if I was to sum it up in a word, it was just weird, just to be
Yeah.
in the spotlight. I was that was never me, so it was uncomfortable too for a while. I had to get used to it.
Dope, dope. But yeah, like you said, you transition from modeling to acting. Well, like you said, you still model, but how was that transition for you? Like, was that kind of something that happened organically, or were you like, hey, well, I model, why not, try to go for some auditions for acting just to see what happens?
No, I was scouted for that too. My current manager,
You
he
were
scouted me
okay.
at a yeah, it's funny how life goes, but yeah, he happened to be in a modeling agency that in San Francisco that I was with, and he saw my comp card on the wall, and he asked to meet with me, and I ended up meeting with him, and that again kind of set the path, with acting classes and learning the craft, and that basically was, like I said, what started it all. But again, it was even when I was approached by my manager regarding acting, I was kind of like, oh, I don't know. Again, this is got pushing me out of my comfort zone even more. But everything happens for a reason. Looking back, it's just kind of weird because, like I said, everything that I'm doing now, if going back, if you would have asked my 18-year-old self if I wanted or saw
Yeah.
myself acting or modeling or any of that, I would have said hell no, and I would never even thought about doing that.
That's so great. Yeah, like I feel with a lot of entertainers, even like actors, models, singers, even like me, like entertainment reporters or like hosts. It's like the big thing of introvert, extrovert. Like
Mm-hmm.
like yeah, on screen or when it's action, okay, we're good. But like as soon
Yeah,
after, I'm like, hey, I could stay at home. Like,
yeah,
how do you like? Isn't that? Don't you feel like? I feel like a lot of people are like that in this industry. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong. If we, I know you now, I could talk to you, but I'm saying like it's weird. I feel like a lot of people are introverted. A lot of people aren't, so outgoing. It's more when the screen, yes, we're on, it's on, smiles, cameras, everything. But once,
yeah.
cut, it's like, okay, back to no, like, okay, I'm quiet, I'm chill, just let me go back in my bubble. Like, it's so interesting, I
Act,
feel.
acting.
Yeah, I mean, it really, completely, because I feel like almost every single person I know in the industry is like that. Like,
Yeah,
there's a
it was
couple that are
surprising.
outgoing, they're just 100%.
Yeah, it was surprising to me as well, just because I saw a meme once that said, um, what was it? Antisocial people are always telling other people that they're antisocial, right? So that's kind of the going thing, right? It's the number one topic with
Yeah,
antisocial people. So it, being if that's truly the case, you meet a lot of people that are the same way, and I don't know. I guess to me there's levels. There's
yeah.
people that are truly that way, and you won't really hear from. And there's some that act, and act and
Hmm.
portray, a certain way, and then go back into their shell. And there's some that who say they are and they aren't. But I believe there's probably there's levels to it. So I think I'm probably one of those that, I turn it on and I turn it off.
Yeah,
It's a job. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely a job. I
exactly.
still am true to who I am. I don't like to front and be someone, that I'm not. I try to stay true to myself, but, at the same time, I understand it's a business and you have to, open up and
Hmm.
be in front of the camera and show parts of yourself that that I normally wouldn't.
No, definitely. Well, I want to ask you too, like you said, get into modeling and acting. What were each of your first booked gigs? What was your first one for modeling? What was your first one for acting? How was it for you?
Modeling, what, my former manager, rest in peace, Abraham McDonald. Um, if I remember correctly, he had me do a fashion show, and I think it was at a high school, and it was probably maybe like, I don't know, 30 people or so there, and we probably wore some baggy clothes. Who knows what it was? Um, I just remember it was very uncomfortable. I wish I could go back and see the tape, because as a model, there's a certain walk that is expected, and
Hmm.
I wish I could go back and see it, how I was walking at that time. I'm sure it was a hot mess. Um, but yeah, that was one of my first modeling jobs, and then as far as acting, Days of Our Lives was one
Yeah.
I played. It was a U5 under five role as a police officer on the show. So I kind of,
Hmm.
full circle, ended up coming back to Days of Our Lives, but that was the first one. Yeah, and I was nervous
Yeah,
as
that's
hell then.
like it's crazy. Well, I could imagine. Yeah, like that's a huge like first gig. I mean, that's like how do you feel being on two of the biggest soap operas that have literally been around, I feel like, and will live on, I'm sure, when we're gone. Like it's just one of them, it's two of those shows that just, I mean, I remember being like 5 years old, seeing my mom and dad and my grandparents watching that. And like still till
Yeah,
to this day, I see people watching it. It's like, and it's not old. It's still, relevant, and the story keeps on going on. Like, how did you feel? Like you're part of both legacies.
it feels good to be a part of, of history. Days of Our Live
Yeah.
history, and being a part of Young and the Restless as well. Um, Days has been on for 55 years now.
Is it that
So
long?
it's 55 years, man. It's a long time, way before I was even thought of. So,
Yeah.
it feels good to be a part of that legacy, and they still have a strong following, core fans that have just stuck
Yes.
around through from the beginning. So like I said, it's something that, I'm grateful for and blessed to be a part of.
Yeah, it's like amazing because like it's crazy. That's like the one thing I feel that isn't really dwindled television wise. Everything else kind of has its,
So,
up and downs. They're literally been like consistent. Like it's just crazy. But like
yeah,
how
no.
how is your character right now? How do you like playing your character on Days of Your Lives right now, Eli? How like because you've been on there since when? Recently, it's since 2017,
Um,
right?
yeah, yeah. What, almost 4 years now or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So, God, Eli has been through so much in such a short amount of time. It's hard to say, but he for the most part, I think he stays true to his core beliefs. He's a good guy. He used to be an FBI agent. He's a police officer now, so
Hmm.
he's definitely one of the ones that kind of flies straight, and someone that upholds the law. He's a husband now. He's a father now.
Yeah.
He's come a long way, but I think through the beginning to now, he has, kind of, you know, kept the same morals that he came in with. A lot of times you'll see people
Hmm.
completely, completely do a 180 and change, and they're no longer the person that you remember them as. And I like to see Eli as
Hmm.
someone who's kind of stayed true to him, true to himself, and has kept the same integrity. And of course, there's always going to be times where people sway and do things like that. But for the most part, I think he's stayed true to himself. He's been a solid guy, and a character that I think the fans, have taken a liking to.
Definitely, definitely. And I want to ask you, like, how is it juggling being a part of two major shows? Because, you're on Days of Our Lives, that's on, during the day. And then
Mm.
All American literally has bloomed into like this huge new kind of
Yeah,
cult following, really. Like
it
I remember
has.
when I
Yeah.
first seen the previews and now it's like like literally I didn't even start watching the beginning until recently and I caught up. But like how is it just being a part of it and like you being a recurring role now on the third season?
It's it's a blessing, man. It's something that that I wanted to do for a long time, to be a part of a prime time TV show, and to be on All American with
Mm-hmm.
such a great cast, and everyone's so cool over there, and just to to be a part of the uprising of that show. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it was what this 2020 that it kind of really took off once it hit Netflix, or maybe it was
Mm-hmm.
hit Netflix before. But I just remember, turning on Netflix, and number one, for days it was like number one
Yeah.
on Netflix. So it took off. They really have, worked hard, and created something that fans truly enjoy, and wait week by week by week for,
Mm-hmm.
and they were waiting for season 3 to come for a long time. There was a lot of talk about it. But to answer your question, I mean, how is it? It's it can be tough sometimes, because working at Days of Our Lives, that the schedule, we're Monday through Friday over there. There's before COVID, we would have, let's say, 2, 3 weeks off, or actually, sorry, before COVID, we usually work 3 weeks on, 1 week off.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a lot of breaks, but now that, we had so much time off, we're working every week, so things are moving a
Crazy.
lot faster now, a lot faster. So, scheduling can be a little tough, but, so far we've been able to work it out, and, things are going smooth, and I'm having a ball working on both shows.
Yeah, I want to ask you too, like because when you work on these shows, your cast members, it'd be kind of, even I know it's COVID and you can't really, like you said, you have to be cautious still, but everyone kind of becomes like family.
Yeah.
Who are you closest with on each of the shows? Would you say like off camera? Because you're together a lot on both shows,
On days.
on Days and for All American. Who are you closest with, and like, would you
Um,
consider like
I
a
would
good friend?
Sal, definitely, on Days of Our
Okay.
Lives. She plays, Sal Stour. She
Hmm.
plays my wife, on the show. So a lot of my scenes, we're always working. Well, I won't say always, but most times we're working on the same day. So
Yeah.
she's someone, we had a friendship before the show, and our friendship has only got stronger on the show, working day in and day out, with her. So she's someone that I'm really close to on the show. And then, I think on, it's I guess it's kind of a tie, because the two people that I work with, and have worked with the most on All American, are Tay and, and Kamira. So those are the, or
Okay.
Karima, sorry. So those are the two people that I've worked with the most there. And so, I kind of built a bond while I'm there, talking to them. So I would say, Karima and Tay over at All American.
Okay, dope, dope. And this industry's crazy. You're a father. How is it being a dad in this industry? And like, what do your kids think of it? Like, yo, dad, like you're on two of the biggest shows right now. Like, what do they think of it? Like, do they even like kind of know, or they just like, oh, dad's going to work?
Yeah, they probably could give a damn, to be honest. They do not even care. I mean, it's funny. I think, sometimes, like, if there's a clip or something, and I'll have it on my phone, and they'll hear me talking on my phone, they'll come over, and they'll just kind of, be nosy to see, and they'll see, and I think it's the continued question of, is that real? No,
Yeah.
that's not real. That it's just TV. Oh, okay. And then they're off doing their own thing. I think that's just it seems to be their focus for the most part is just understanding or not understanding, but just making sure like what you're doing on TV, like you didn't record that, right? Like
Hmm.
this that's work, right? And I'm like, yeah, that's work. So
Yeah.
I think if anything, it's just for them just finding out what's real and what's not, and then they're off doing their own thing.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I always wonder, like, because your kid, kids, they like hit or miss, I feel. Sometimes they know exactly, and sometimes they're like, okay, it's dad's going to work.
Only
Like, it's
time
just another day,
only time they care, the only time they care is if they've recognized someone that I've worked with or I'm working with on a
Okay.
show that they watch. That's the only time they don't care anything about me. They're, oh, you know him? That's the only
Him.
time they care if they see somebody they know.
That's so funny. That's classic. But I want to ask you too. You have a big year for you, the big 4-0. So
Oh, oh, putting my business out there in the streets.
that's a good milestone. That's a good thing. Like I feel like
Yeah,
40, I feel like 30s and 40s are like the new 20s, I feel like I don't know. But that's a big milestone, you know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
hopefully we'll be somewhat out of COVID season. Have you been thinking of how you want to celebrate, how you want to, it's a big thing, and you're, still doing your
it
thing in
is.
the industry.
Yeah, it is a big milestone, but honestly, it's probably it's gonna feel like a day after 39. Even though the numbers changed, and I'm reaching into a new heights, I guess you can say. I don't know. On one hand, I'm like, it's the nervousness part. I'm like, oh God, like when you think of the number, you're like, geez,
It's crazy, right?
that number is getting up there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
I'm not far
I don't
behind.
feel
I'm
like
not
I'm
far
gonna be
behind.
turning. So it at the same time, it's like it is what it is. But as far as like any plans or anything like that, nah. I mean, it's just another day. I probably won't be doing anything but just hanging out the house.
So, but one thing I really respect about you, you, a lot of people in this industry, they want to be put on in a year and they give up. They don't
Mm,
want to put in the work. They don't want to do the couple modeling or acting jobs or that aren't, in front of a huge audience off the bat. Everyone wants, the big networks, right away, or they think like, especially in the millennial mindset, I feel, a lot of people just give
yes.
up. How was it for you just kind of like really staying true to yourself and being like, hey, I'm going to ride this out and, continue to see what happens with this career?
It was a roller coaster. It definitely was. And I always say, looking back, one of the biggest lessons that I had was just learning to have patience.
Hmm.
It's so needed, but at the same time, just being able to appreciate the little wins and also appreciate the losses too, because all of it just really sets the foundation for, you know, whatever platform during this process that you land on.
Hmm.
So I mean, like I said, there were a lot of ups and there were a lot of downs. It took a lot of time. Acting wasn't something that came easy to me. I really had to like work hard and still am working hard. It's one of those jobs where you never actually get to a place where you know everything and you're like, okay, I got it all
Hmm.
figured out. There's nothing anybody can tell me. There's always something that
Yeah.
you can learn in business, and that's one of the things that I love about it is because you know it it's always ongoing, and that really attracted me to it. Once I developed the love for it, is that there was always something to learn, and I couldn't just hit a point where I knew it all. But yeah, it was definitely a roller coaster. There was a lot of peaks and valleys and ups and downs. But like I said, it's gotten me here, and I only see the road or the light at the tunnel only gets brighter from here.
No, definitely. What? what would you say would be your biggest piece of advice for someone getting this industry? Because, like I said, so many people just automatically want to give up right away, or I guess like rebrand or
Yeah,
rethink their image because they think it doesn't work right away. Like people, I know people that literally move to LA and they think within 6 months, if they're not popping, it's over with. I'm like, you can't. It's not even a fraction. That's not even a quarter of
yeah,
what it is to be in this industry. It's not how it works. I mean, yeah, there's always that one person that maybe will get it like that, but it's one in a
yeah,
million, if not even more. So, what's one
yeah.
piece of advice you would give?
I think it's going right back in, to what I was saying, just about patience. I think a lot of people will look at some, success stories of certain people who just came right out the gate and made it and think, well, if they can, I can as well. And that is true.
Yeah.
I would never tell anyone that you can't make it right off the bat, but because you can. But at the same time, just understand that it doesn't work out like that for everyone, and there is a process,
Hmm.
and there is stages, there is ups and downs. So you just have to be patient, and again, just appreciate the wins and losses, because they all contribute to your rise. And yeah, have patience.
Yeah, I'm happy you said that about the losses because so many people think like no's are the end all say all, and it's like no, it's just how
Hmm.
they say you get one yes out of like 100 no's, and
Exactly.
it's all
But that
part
one
of
yes
your
could be everything.
journey.
Yeah.
Exactly. It could be the life-changing thing that literally changes your life for the rest of your life. Like,
Yep.
yeah, you
Yep.
might have had a million no's, but that one yes, it's all you needed to, persevere and make it in this industry.
True.
I don't
Very.
know. People, yeah, it's weird, the industry. It's just, moving to LA, it's just a different, I guess because so many people are imports, going to LA. No one's really kind of from LA. Everyone's, moving
Yeah,
from
I'm
all
from
over
the
the
Bay.
country or the world.
Yeah, I've met so many people out in LA that are from the Bay Area. It's crazy. But yeah, a lot of people
That's what I'm
out
saying.
here
Yeah.
aren't from here, which is hey, it's good, Let it be a melting pot.
Yeah.
I
I
got no
mean,
problem with
it's the
that.
land of opportunity. So you can never, that's where all the work's at. But
Yeah.
back to acting. What would be your dream role? What would you say would be your ideal like genre of a movie or show that you haven't hit yet that and like co-star or like leading lady would you want with you, would you say?
Dream role. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is I would love to play in a superhero in like a Marvel or
Okay.
DC movie. Doing stunts and the way things are shot nowadays, and it's
Yeah.
crazy from like 10 years ago, the way how real stuff looks. So I'd love to be a part of, of that process and get to see how everything's done, and get to be in front of a green screen, and thrown
Hmm.
across, and have all these, cords and everything hooked up to me. So I mean, I've watched, behind the scenes of actors doing things like that. It looks so fun. So that would definitely be one of the things that I would love to be a part of, and just to get to experience that, and do stunts and things like that.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, would you want to do all your own stunts? Like you wouldn't want a stunt man?
Yeah, no, listen, we
Yeah.
talked about me being 40, but no, 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 no. That holds no weight. If there's stunts involved, I'm down to do it all. I definitely would love to do all my stunts.
So yeah, age ain't nothing but a number. It's nothing but a number. It's the truth. Um,
Exactly.
I know you're a big fan of tattoos. So, this time of being off, have you thought of what you want to get next? Have you thought of any new ideas that you want to get?
Yeah, well, I think I got maybe like three tattoos over the time off that for COVID. And it's funny you asked, because this morning I was actually doing some research, because I still haven't finished work that needs to be done on my arm. I have like an incomplete. It's not a full sleeve, but just the inside. I still need to
Hmm.
fix up some stuff. So I am still looking into finishing up the piece on my arm. I just have to figure exactly what I want. And I like to sit on if I come up with an idea, I like to sit on it for like
Hmm.
3 to 6 months to make sure that at the end of that time, I haven't changed my mind, because I have went and gotten a chair and gotten a tattoo and right off thinking like, oh, this would be cool. I
Yeah.
want to go get it. And then I'll get it. And then 6 months down the line, a year, I'm like, damn, I wish I wouldn't have got that.
I
So
think, yeah.
I've had that lesson. So I like to sit on it and just make sure that what I get, I truly want and will want, because it is a lifetime,
Yeah.
unless you get it removed. But from what I've heard, getting tattoos removed is more painful than getting them.
Yes.
Getting them. I don't want to go that route.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense because, like you said, so many people make that quick. Like my
Hmm.
sister has done that, and I'm just like, yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. Like you said, you got to take time. It may take a year, it may take 2 years, and but then it's something you love and you want out
Yeah,
of, not
and it's
just
there
something
forever.
sporadic or you had a fun night. Yeah, it's there
Yeah,
forever. Like, come on now. But
yeah.
I don't want to take all your time up. But what have you been doing? Besides working, what have you been doing to like keep yourself busy and just kind of not busy in a work way, but in a hobby way, and to keep like mentally there? Because I feel like so many people were tested, during this whole thing because you know it it put us all in a way different place that we've never been in before. So how have
Mhm.
you been? What do you do for a hobby, and what did you do to like keep just there for you and for your family and just your career?
I did a lot of gardening,
Okay.
and I also did some writing. Um, I created with my partner a comedy film. We already have a drama that we're currently trying to get a named actor for. So
Oh,
working on stuff behind the camera as well. That's something that I've definitely set my sights on. Um, I've got a lot of dreams and aspirations that
yeah.
in the entertainment business. And it's funny because, like I said, we were saying before, it's never anything that I thought that I'd be into, but it's a driving force in my life now.
Hmm.
But again, to answer your question, I was doing some gardening around the house, some writing, and just working on myself. That's about it.
Yeah.
It's not much to do. It really
Yeah.
isn't. It's more so now, but for that time that we were locked in the house, I mean, it really wasn't much to do, but kind of just watch Netflix and find hobbies.
Yeah. That and like I feel the worst thing I did was I had packages like almost every other day. It was bad. Like
Yeah, shopping. Yeah, I did some of that too.
Amazon Prime was yeah, it was very good during this
Yeah,
time.
I definitely indulged in that for sure.
Yeah, but to wrap up, like you said, we're in a place right now that we don't know what this summer even holds, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um, what do you see for the rest of this year for yourself, and where do you want to see in the next 5 years? Would you say what some little goals you want to check off as well?
Starting with this year, just to stay busy. I think
Hmm.
coming off of last year with such a layoff, to stay healthy, to stay busy, and just keep striving and just keep pushing forward, as far as this year. And in the next 5 years, hopefully, deep off into primetime TV and film, and even working behind the camera as well. Bringing
Yeah,
the scripts that my partner and I have created to fruition, and showing that there's much more that I can offer than being in front of the camera acting, for sure.
dope, dope. Well, Ramon, I want to wish you all the best of luck.
Thank
Definitely
you.
keep at it. You're doing it. Like, can't wait to hopefully meet you in person when it's normal, when I'm
Yeah.
back out in LA,
We-
because I can't wait to come
when
back to
everyone is
LA.
out
It's been
walking,
like
wearing masks.
exactly like I got my first COVID shot, so I'm waiting
Oh,
for the
okay.
second one, and maybe I don't know. I'm kind of nervous about the second one. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a
Well,
little
hopefully when you
the
stand
side
up, you don't
effects.
have a tail.
Exactly, right? Let's pray. In 5 years, I'm okay. But I just want to like fly. I just want to go on one vacation without having to wear a
I hear
mask somewhat. So
that. Yeah.
hopefully by I get my shot what in March I think sometime my second one, and then I'm gonna
Okay.
book some flights because I need yeah this is the longest I've been without traveling, and I need a trip, at least a trip or two.
I
It's
hear
just
that. I hear that. I hear that. That's
yeah.
true.
But yeah, wish you all the best of luck. Like I said, hope to meet you in person in LA. Like I said, when it's open, stay
Yeah.
safe, and I definitely appreciate you, bro.
Thank you, man. Appreciate you having me.
Thanks a lot.
Have a
Appreciate it.
good
Have a good
one.
night. Stay safe. Okay,
All right, you
peace.
too.